Welcome to the Weekend Investing Daily Bites, June 3rd, Thursday. Let's see what the market did today. Small caps and Nifty Next 50 were up nicely. The Nifty also opened with a gap up and stayed there most of the day. It tried to close the gap, but many stocks in the larger segment were large cap segment were going up. The broader base also, CNX 200, CNX 500 were up almost 0.75%. Overall, a great expiry of the last 5 days. Nifty Next 50 having performed the best in the last 5 days at 3.67% up, and for the month and for the financial year is still looking very good. The rally was distributed across most of the sectors. Realty, which is not here in this list, was the front runner, but consumption infra stocks were also gaining ground. Pharma and FMCG were muted. The PSU banks also were reasonably in the green. In terms of the weekend investing performances, the MIST ATH, which has been on fire this week, continued to lead. It closed at 1.73% higher today. For the week now it is up 8.4%, and for the financial year we are nearing 31% already. And NNF10 and MI25 also are doing well. Overall, we had a very satisfactory start of this financial year and 6 weeks so far. Let's look at the topic for the day. So let's look at the problem that we have at hand. Let's say you bought two stocks, stock A and stock B, and you bought them at 100 rupees each. Now after some time, stock A has gone up 30% from 100 to 130, and stock B has gone down from 100 to 70. So one is up 30%, one is down 30%. What are we usually doing in terms of what is our emotional or behavioral response to these two stocks? Most people are wanting to sell the stock that has gone up, to capture that 30% gain. Nothing wrong in it, but let's just compare the two. And the stock that has come down by 30%, we are fearful of booking a loss. What actually is happening is that the loss has already happened, but we are allowing some more time in the hope that the stock may go up, right? So at this point of time, it is not a transaction worthy of the stock feature for which you bought that. Why you bought that stock, it could be fundamental, it could be technical, it could be any reason. But now all that has gone in the background for the stock that has come down, and we are essentially focused on our price, that I bought at 100 and now it is at 70, so I should wait, because in the long term stock markets go up, the economy is growing. If the company is not really messing it up, it may go back, the stock prices may again go back, but all that is sort of a hope trade. The idea that you should sell your winners and hold on to your losers, that itself is the sort of the essence why most portfolios don't do well, according to me. So we'll see more of that as we go into this. So this is called the disposition effect. So it's the tendency of the investors to hold on to assets that have lost value and sell assets that have gained value. There is some fear inside us that if we don't book our profits quickly, they will evaporate, and sometimes they do. On the other hand, there is a fear that if we don't book a loss, then the stock will go back and I'll be caught with booking a loss there. So ideally, you should be evaluating at any point of time whether that stock is worth being invested in at that point or not, regardless of your purchase price at 100 and current price at 70. That reference point of your purchase is causing all the wrong decision about that stock. Somebody else who's buying it now at 70 has no reference point of that 100, right? So he or she is able to take a better decision than the person who's already holding it from 100, whether 70 is a buy or a sell. Because you bought it at 100 and now it is at 70, it remains a buy for you. So the reference point for both investors is very different for the same stock. So if you see from a behavioral point of view, psychological point of view, the market has no allegiance to your purchase price. The market does not know what price you bought at, and it does not care. You may feel that you want to get back your price, but the market has no such feeling. The market, if it says stock B is worth 70, it is worth 70. You may hold on to your purchase price in hope that time will heal the wound. Instead of the stock performance, the quality of the stock or the earnings or whatever maybe have been the reason why you bought that stock, all that basically takes a backseat, and the primary motive now becomes, let me give this stock more time so that time may heal this wound. Sometimes it does, many times it doesn't, and it may keep bleeding, or you may keep even adding to it. That is even a bigger blunder that you may do. So all these blunders happen because you have a reference point that I bought at 100, and that itself could have been a big mistake, right? So it is entirely a game of emotions, and the best of minds get overtaken by their emotional biases. However strong you may be in your mind, there can be a moment of weakness which can destroy your years of hard work. So we need to improve on this. How do we improve on this? So like I said in a tweet today, that a 30% loss gives you more pain than the pleasure derived from a 30% profit. Pain is always much more deeper in magnitude than happiness. So when the stock is going down from 100 to 70, we know that we've lost 30%. But we don't want to, we feel in our mind that by selling the stock now, we will book the loss. The loss has actually already happened. It is just a formal book entry that, I am selling it at 70. It is already at 70 and it is worth 70 only right now. Your selling it at 70 or not selling it at 70 does not make it worth more or less, right? You could sell at 70 today, and tomorrow if there is some new information, new trend, new something, you could buy at 70, 75 again. So it is our belief that, we don't want to go through the pain, although the pain has already happened. So we will keep holding it, and justifying to ourselves that no, I have not booked a profit, a loss. So, I'm not doing so bad. But in real terms, you've already lost at that point of time. So what is the solution? The solution is a systematic approach. It could be fundamental driven also. It could be price action based driven also. It depends upon how you structure your system. It need not be just momentum or anything that I usually talk about, but it can be your own system, right? So letting your winners run and losing your losers early, that is a fundamental mathematical approach towards a better portfolio outcome. And in the recently announced weekend investing club that we are starting, we will hold webinars every other week, hopefully, and we will take such issues there and discuss them more in depth, so that there is more interaction and there's more learning on these issues. So let's just take two examples, very recent examples which are fresh in our minds, and of course there is selective bias when I'm choosing these stocks. So ATGL, stock going from 100 rupees to 1400 rupees, right? And this stock has not, I think, not included today's move. We are at 1600 today. So what is happening here? If you see the journey of ATGL, many people may have got in early, may have booked at 30%, 50%, 100%, 200%, but there is no anchor of a systematic way of holding it if you don't have a system in place. At 30% you may feel it is overvalued, at 50% you may feel it is overvalued, at 100%. And all these percentages from where you bought. So that becomes your sort of reference point, that it has gone up 100% for me, so it has gone up a lot. Your buying or selling point has no relevance actually in the market. You should be evaluating, if you're doing, let's say, a fundamental basis on it, whether this 1300 or 1600 price, whether it is worth it or not. If it is not, please get out. If it is a price based or action or momentum based system and it has its own exit point, if it is not yet violated that point, please stay in. That is your system, right? So reverse example, let's say Yes Bank falling from 400, falling. At every point you are referencing your purchase point. I bought at 350, now it is 220. Let me wait. And then you just justify yourself with so many reasons. It is a bank, it is growing, this and that, there's more capital coming in, new CEO. At every point you're justifying, you're adding, you're not ready to book your loss because your reference point is at purchase, right? So, but if you have a system, that system may have simple exits. A lot of people ask me, what are your exit rules? There can be n number of exit rules. You can have just a flat percentage drop, a trailing stop loss. If my stock drops 10%, 20%, 30%, I'll get out. It could be some average true range system. It could be a MACD based system. It could be anything. It could be a moving average based system. That is not the real thing. The real thing is that you have a system in place, and then if you are able to follow it and execute it by removing all these biases from your mind. So this is all I had, a very simple explanation of this disposition effect. I hope you're liking these small bites. Please let us know in your comments in the section below. And I look forward for you to join me on Saturday on this first weekend investing club meet that we will have. More details are there on the Telegram channel. We will discuss about how to better returns on weekend investing products using moving averages, etc. If you are an active investor. So let me know your thoughts and keep sending in your comments and keep liking the YouTube channel as well. Thank you. Bye bye.